So you said that.
I agree with myself.
So there's many things. You can read her bio in the flap of the book that she's accomplished. The book is a record of her incredible battles and accomplishments. Her lawsuit, her freedom of speech lawsuits all over the country, and the battles with the MTA, which she won, which is so incredible. What she's accomplished. A couple of years ago, we honored Pamela Geller as our American Patriot of the Year at our Lincoln dinner a number of years ago, and where she, really spoke out that truth is a new hate speech, and we're so glad to have her back again. We're so pleased. And everybody, let's listen to what she has to say. Listen to her words of courage and inspiration, and take this home, and let's all stand up together for the freedom which Pamela Geller is espousing. Welcome back. Join me in welcoming Pamela Geller back to the Queens Village Republican Club.
This girl is on fire.
First, I want to thank Phil and the members of the board and the Queens Village Republican Club for having the moral courage, the moral nerve to invite me to speak. It may seem like nothing, but take it from me, it's huge. After the initial, was it the first or the second assassination attempt on my life, everybody canceled any speaking engagement that I had. And so I'm looking at a room full, I'm looking at an army of Davids against a Goliath, agreed, but we know how that worked out. I have to say that it's sort of incredible that we're meeting today, this auspicious day, the first annual World Hijab Day. No, I'm quite serious. The first annual World Hijab Day, where non-Muslim women are encouraged to wear the hijab. Now, let's look at the context of this. In Iran, a country under Islamic law, women are fighting and dying and marching to not wear the hijab. Okay? The icon of this freedom movement is a woman ripping off the hijab. By the way, I'm sure you've seen that avatar. It's been made into an avatar, but I'm sure you've seen that picture, that famous picture. She has disappeared. The last freedom revolution that was ignored by the Obama administration in 2009, the freedom revolution that was led by women, truly, I mean, listen, all of those, that Arab Spring was really an Islamic supremacist revolution. The only true freedom revolution was in Iran. And you know how you know that? You don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to do what I do every day. It was led by women. Women with eyeliner, women with stilettos. Hijab didn't matter. That was led by women. And when Bush said, if you stand up, we will stand with you, they did it 6 months too late, because they were standing in defense of freedom, not unlike Egypt, where he threw out our partner of 30 years, the first Muslim country to make a peace with Israel, for example, and punished the Egyptian people when they overthrew Morsi. So that's what's happening now. While Iranian women are marching and dying for freedom, ripping off the hijab, you have the left, the feminazis in this country, #MeToo. What a full of shitnik movement. I am angry about that movement because there are women really struggling for freedom. 95% of the women in Egypt have had their the clitorises cut off. And here in this country, we are seeing a spike in female genital mutilation. In Minnesota, 2 doctors have been indicted for female genital mutilation, and interestingly enough, they're using a religious defense that it's part of their religion. That should be very interesting to see how that goes. And I say that because one could make the case that Osama bin Laden was following his religion. Saipayev, the San Bernardino jihadis, Mumbai, New York, Orlando, Nice, Berlin, Stockholm, Jerusalem, I can't even. And so here we are on World Hijab Day, okay? And mind you, I have no problem with the hijab. None. I don't care if you wear a ring in your nose. I don't care if you wear purple hair. I don't care if you wear a hijab. I have a problem with girls who are forced to wear the hijab. This is the problem. They turn it around. Yeah. They morally invert it, saying, we want to wear the hijab. Who stops you? Who cares? It's the women that don't, and don't think it's not here. We see it here. Amina and Sarah Saeed, Noor al-Maliki, Aqsa Parvez, Asia Hassan, girls in the United States that have been murdered because they wanted to live a free life. Who speaks for them? Linda Sarsour? Linda Sarsour, who's the leader of the feminist Me Too movement, who is in an arranged marriage, who is a vicious Jew hater, who calls for Ayaan Hirsi Ali, one of the bravest apostates, former Muslims, to have her vagina removed and her ass whooped. Oh yeah, the tweet is out there. This is the leader of the feminists, hashtag Me Too movement, and we're supposed to take it seriously? I don't think so. I mean, it really, first of all, they're destroying the whole dynamic, the whole male-female dynamic. I mean, this is a whole other conversation, and I'm really sorry, but it really is upsetting me. I mean, what is better than a woman to be desired? Now every man has to be afraid to say the wrong thing, to put a hand on his shoulder. Listen, you know, my young days are over, but I worked in the corporate world for many decades. And in my 20s, at the New York Daily News, at various companies, did men make a pass? Damn right they did. And I put them right in their place, and that was the end of that. So what? But clitoridectomies, honor violence, honor killing, women as chattel, under Islamic law, a woman's testimony is worth a fraction of the man. This is unspoken for the feminist movement. And yes, it upsets me because they're indoctrinating our young girls in this leftist Islamic toxic ooze. And on the other hand, in Europe, which for us in America is a cautionary tale, there is a new movement, hashtag 120dBs, which stands for 120 decibels, which is the volume of the rape alarm that every young girl, every young woman, every tween is carrying in Europe now. They have 2 items, rape alarm, pepper spray. Everyone. And now there is this new movement called 120dB, and it's all these victims. And there are hundreds of thousands of them. And they are pointing a finger at the EU, and they are pointing a finger at the government, and they are saying you knew that this is not, that this cultural thing where we are perceived as war booty, because it's in the Quran, that you knew this, and you sacrificed us. And any nation that sacrifices their girls, that sacrifices their women, has no future. Who gives birth? To the warriors, to the soldiers, to the doctors, to the scientists, to the future. Who gives birth, literally? So here we are on World Hijab Day, and you have to say, how did we get here? And the reason why this book is so important is because my journey really is mirrored by the journey of the West. Before 9/11, I was your quintessential New York City career girl. Apolitical, yeah, I was very apolitical. I love my music, I love my fashion, love my art. I was the associate publisher of the New York Observer. I loved my life. I love my freedom. I love dancing. I love going to the ballet. I love my life. I never thought my freedom could be in jeopardy. I didn't have really any thought about Islam. I perceived it as Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, thought it was a religion. And then 9/11 happened. And 9/11 shook me. Destroyed my whole premise. My premise that I was free, that my freedom was absolute, that after World War II, the good cops were on the beat, that we were living in sort of a post-historical mindset where we didn't have to worry about such things. And I was wrong. And so I felt guilty. I didn't know who would attack my country. And when I found out, I felt guilty that I didn't understand who would attack the country. So I began to read about Islam and the jihadic doctrine and the Quran and the Hadith and the Sirah. And I came to understand that it was not like other religions, that it is a comprehensive system. It is a complete system. It is political, it is legal, it is dietary, it is social, it is military, and it's a religion. Different. Different because Jewish law pertains only to Jews. Canon law pertains only to Christians. But Islamic law, Sharia, asserts its authority over non-Muslims, which is why you see the wholesale slaughter of Christians in non-Muslim countries, which is why you see this centuries-long war in India. And even when India split and gave Muslims their own country, Pakistan, it didn't end. And honestly, I believe that the Indians are on the front lines in the jihad wars. They have over 80 million, and that's a low estimate, 80 million victims. The same thing with Israel, except Israel, for some reason, because it's the Jews, gets put in a whole other category. I can assure you that the jihad against Israel is the same jihad of 9/11, of 3/11, of 7/7, every jihad attack. Read the Quran. Do not burn it. We do not burn books. Nazis burn books. Read the Quran. Everything you see happening is in the Quran. So this book is my journey. And the reason why I think it's so important is because the more knowledgeable I became by reading Ibn Waraq, not the apologists for Islam, not Esposito and Armstrong, but Ibn Waraq, Bacheyor, Robert Spencer. By reading the and the Quran, by reading the actual teachings, I became aware of this threat. And then, of course, I delved into history. Well, they talk about this golden age in Spain, right? The Caliph of Cordoba, which was the name of the Ground Zero Mosque, interestingly enough, golden age, not for Christians and Jews that were living in dimitude, living denied basic human rights. The first pogroms against the Jews was in Cordoba, Spain. There's never been a period of peace. Has there been every once in a while a benevolent dictator, a benevolent Shah? Yes, but you know what? At the end of the day, the people throw him out because it is against the Islamic texts and teachings. And so increasingly I saw the media was not talking about this. They wouldn't talk about it. So I was driven basically online because that's really the last frontier in free speech, the wild west. But after a while, you know Geller, who's been doing this for 17 years. When I write something, I vetted it and I've confirmed it. You get to know who's being honest and who's not. And so did I. And all of the things you probably know me for, whether it's the Ground Zero Mosque, whether it's for these ad campaigns, whether it's for the free speech lawsuits or the free speech event in Garland, Texas, is from the website. All of it. That was the mothership. I mean, for example, when a young girl was missing in Ohio, went missing in Ohio, and her friends wrote me and said, we think she's dead because she was a Muslim girl who converted from Islam to Christianity, and her mosque was spying on her, always. This is always the case. And they infiltrated her Facebook page, and they called the mother at home. The father was on a business trip, flew right home. flew right home and said, if you have this Jesus in your heart, then I'm going to kill you. Now, none of these stories end well. When the friends wrote me, I thought, well, this girl's done for. I had never seen an potential honor-killing victim who was saved. But she ran away. She ran away, and she got to safety in Florida from Columbus, Ohio. Now, why is the story so important? Well, for a number of reasons. It shows how far down the rabbit hole America has gone, because they tried to bring her back. These terror-tied groups like CARE were working with the family that threatened to kill her and trying to bring her back from Florida, 17 years old, to her parents' household, where I can tell you she never would have made it. They would have secretly taken her back to Sri Lanka and killed her. Trust me. So I went to Florida to cover the case, because you know the media was not going to give this girl a fair shake. Not when she got up and said the things that she said. When they apprehended her in Florida, this tiny bit of a girl, 90 pounds, is shaking and saying, they'll kill me. You don't understand Islam. You don't And I thought, oh my God, this girl is finished. And finished she was. The reportage on this girl was vile. The newspapers, the Orlando Sentinel, Renee Strutz, I'm saying with a deliberately an Italian accent there. The things they were saying about her, like when she would show up in the courtroom, they'd say her cheeks were painted with blush, as if what? She's some kind of scarlet. She was a little virgin, little Christian virgin. You understand? Like, oh, her nails were painted red. Shocker. But you see, it was all a propaganda campaign to bring this girl back, and it was such a fight because they won. But because of my readers and people in social media were watching, they put her in a home in Ohio. And so I would call for these like Christmas card campaigns. Let's everyone send her a Christmas card because she was alone, this bit of a thing. And literally thousands of Christmas cards. The family and CARE went to court to stop the Christmas cards. This is evil. The bottom line is this girl was saved. And all the smears and the defamation and the libel was worth it. And again, the work comes from these incidents. When I was in Florida, on my way to the courtroom, I see a bus pass by. It says, "Come to Islam." You have questions about Islam? Come. And I thought, okay, what about those that want to leave Islam, like Rivka Berry? So I took their ad, exactly, with the sun and the stars and the grass, and it said, come to Islam. So I just changed it. I flipped it to leaving Islam. Is your family threatening you? Is there a fatwa on your head? And let me tell you, OMG. I could not believe for 1 second. First of all, in 24 hours in Miami, taken down. Taken down. My lawyers sent a letter right away. They went back up, but after that, Miami banned all political, religious, and issue-related ads. In New York, when they went up, in my lobby, you would have thought I was Sophia Loren and I'd run off with Cary Grant. That's how much paparazzi was in my lobby from this ad. I'm not exaggerating. I am still involved in a lawsuit in Detroit, which I won 2009 because they would not run that ad. When I won, they would not run that ad. In Dearborn, who needs it more?